Hi, my name is Jocelyn. I'm with Lystra Physical Therapy in Madison, Alabama. So today we're going to talk about some fall prevention techniques that are really important in the home. So let's go ahead and start with the basics of safety. So we have things like rugs in the home that are major trip hazards, and so we actually want to go ahead and just remove all those types of items. They can be rugs, they can be cords that are on the floor, small baskets, whatever is in the floor that you could potentially trip over need to be removed. All right, so our next step is always using our assisted device in the home. So if you have a walker or a cane, you need to use those in the home. And we need to make sure that we're keeping them close by and actually utilizing them as we move throughout the home. So if we come into the kitchen, we don't necessarily want to leave it here and then walk over to the cabinets. We want to take it to the cabinets with us, moving it just enough to not trip over it, and then get into the cabinets as we need. So it's still close by. We don't want to utilize furniture in the home or the walls to keep us steady. If we have an assisted device, it needs to be used. We also need to remember how to walk. We need to make sure that we're standing up nice and tall, that we're only using our assisted device for balance. We don't want to be leaning into it. We want to just be using it and just pushing it along with us. We want to make sure that we take nice big steps and make sure that our feet are spread just a little bit. When we take small steps that are close together, we increase our chance of tripping over our own feet. And so also, if we have a little stumble, then we have a larger base of support that we can actually catch ourselves in. So same thing with our walker. We want to make sure we're walking up nice and tall and only using this for balance. So we're going to take nice big steps with our feet slightly widened. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start with some exercise activities that you can do. Now we're doing it with a countertop, like in the kitchen, or if you have a large counter in your bathroom, be sure to remove any rugs, anything that could potentially trip you up in the home. And we need to keep them away. Not just during this activity, but just leave them out of the home for safety. Alright, so we want to make sure we keep our assisted device close by. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this up to here. Go ahead and reach for the counter. And we're going to do just some basic balance activities. So our first exercise is just going to be sidestepping with assistance of our countertop. So we're going to keep our hands on the counter for support, and then we're also going to be taking big steps to the side. We want to do this about 3 times. It depends on how large your counter is. And then once this becomes easier, we can start taking one hand off and switching up. And then when this becomes even easier, we want to hover above. We don't want to remove our hands because we want to have the opportunity to catch ourselves if needed. So we'll just hover above and take those big steps to the side. Our next technique is going to be walking forward and backwards, because backwards is really important. You don't realize how often you actually do that. So let's say I want to put these strawberries away. I'm going to have to walk backwards to get into this refrigerator. So we're going to make sure that we're keeping ourselves safe even walking backwards. So the same thing, we're going to keep one hand on and we're going to walk forward, good big steps, feet slightly spread so that we're making sure that we're not risking tripping over our feet. And we're going forward and we're going backwards. Good. So you may have noticed I've been tripping over my assisted device here, so we definitely want to make sure that we keep that out of the way but close enough. So I could set it off just slightly to the side so that it's still there if I need it, but out of the way of my feet. Okay, so we've already done our side stepping, our forward walking, and our backward walking, making sure our assisted device is out of the way of our feet but also within reach. If you don't have a counter for these next exercises, you can actually use your assisted device. Just make sure it's pressed up against the wall so that it's nice and sturdy. We're going to go ahead and do a few more strengthening exercises. starting with our heel raises. So we're gonna just lift up on our toe, or lift our heels up, coming up on our toes. And we can start with 5 reps and maybe move up as we feel stronger. Another really important one is our toe raises. So we're actually gonna go backwards. We don't wanna rock backwards, we just wanna lift those toes up. This is really important for clearing the foot as we walk. Our next exercise is going to be kicking our leg out to the side. Make sure we're keeping our stomach nice and tight and kicking that leg out to the side without dropping our hips. So again, 5 reps, and we can increase maybe to 2 sets of 5 reps. So 1 time of 5 and then another time of 5. And then we can do our kick backs on both legs. So we always want to do both sides for these. So we have our toe raises, heel raises, out to the side, and our kick backs. And then we also want to add in our marches. So you can do one hand if you feel secure like this, raising our knees up as high as we can. Or if you need to use both, you can also do it here, just coming up as high as you can. Another really important part of balance is going to actually be part of our vision and our ears, so our vestibular system. So we're going to work on doing some looking up and down. And then we're also going to look side to side. Alright, so those are all some exercises that we need to do. And now we're going to actually work on maybe some balance and reaching out of our base of support. So our base of support we're going to make sure is nice and wide when we can be. So this is like in the shower, we need to make sure that our feet are nice and wide. If we're standing at the kitchen sink, making sure our feet are nice and wide so that it's easier for our body to stay within this base. So if we need to get up into our cabinet here, we want to step back so that our feet are nice and wide, nice wide space of support. And then we're going to support ourselves on the countertop and reach in like so. Okay, so today we went over some basic safety for fall prevention. We did some exercising so that we can increase our strength, which will increase our balance and help us catch ourselves if we're actually falling. And we went over our assisted devices and some vestibular, which is our eyes and our ears. And we also went over some reaching and base of support. So the important thing to remember about our base of support is think about a chair. If you have your legs of your chair close together, it's not going to be very stable. So we want to make sure that our feet are about hips width apart for reaching, standing, any kind of activities where you might be moving about in a standstill position. So if you need any further physical therapy, maybe for additional balance training, some strengthening, or if you're having any kind of pain, please give us a call, 256-325-2070. Thank you.